Thank you, Orland.
It's AM to AM on WFAN.
Yeah, that time again, but not that much time tonight. Quick show here. Keith McPherson on the fan until we take you to Sacramento and New York Yankees baseball on the fan around 9:15, 9:25. Listen, first off, first things first, happy Mother's Day weekend to all the moms and grandmoms and great grandmoms out there. Make sure you guys that forgot about that are doing something tonight or tomorrow before we get to Sunday. Go get a card, go buy something. It's too late to really order some. Maybe on Amazon you can get that overnight shipping. But yeah, happy Mother's Day weekend. Hopefully the weather clears up and it's a little better. Yeah, I know. The Knicks. We've been doing everything around the Knicks. Tommy Beer will join us at 8:30 to talk about the Knicks, but I need a little bit of a break from it. We've exhausted the conversation, and it's because it's a conversation we didn't think we'd have. So since Wednesday night, we've been just talking Knicks, everything about the Knicks. Okay. Well, it's the most wonderful time. It's the sports equinox. It's a football Friday on the fan. Yes, a football Friday. And you might think of the sports equinox and say, we don't have football. We have the Stanley Cup playoffs. We have the NBA playoffs. We have Major League Baseball. Football's not playing. The rookies have reported to mini camp and they're starting to sign across this country. The NFL is king across this country. And right here in New York, you're getting a look at Armand Membu. He said he looked at his contract, and I guess getting drafted that high, he didn't know he'd have all those zeros in his contract. He didn't know how much new money he was about to get. And you're getting your first look at Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor shouted out Jason Taylor and Zach Taylor. No mention of Joy Taylor, but he's here coming out of LSU to play tight end, wearing number 46. I think he'll shake out of that number. Something else interesting from the Jets that I caught today, looking at some of the media stuff, with the news of Jordan Travis retiring, you need another arm. You need another practice arm in there. And with the draft pick from Missouri, Armand Membu coming through, they bring in Brady Cook, who I think spent his whole college time there with Armand. So he's got a friend, and Armand said that he's already linked up with Olu Fashanu. So the Jets are underway, but they're still keeping things under wraps. I feel like this new regime of Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji, everything they're doing is quiet, silence, not too flashy, not making too much in the media, not making too much noise, and good. 888-808-1019. Now with the Giants, with the Giants right now, this is what dreams are made of, right? You're looking at the Giants and you've got the quarterback of your dreams. He's so dreamy with his blonde hair and his diamond chain. And you've got the edge rusher that you've been dreaming of that should be the nightmare for quarterbacks in the division. And also a running back that should be a nightmare for defensive coordinators. I'm looking at the Giants media and the Giants practice, and I'm like, this is what the Giants fans have been waiting on. The Giants have needed this, an injection of new young talent and a promise of the future changing and some winning coming back to MetLife Stadium. So as I was going through everything, I saw Michael Strahan was back in the building, and I'm like, okay, of course they kick it off. They bring back Michael Strahan to talk to these guys. Take a listen to what Michael Strahan had to tell the group today.
I'm proud to be here, man, to watch you guys on your first day here. Y'all are working hard and bust your ass. And this is that kind of business where this is what it takes every day. And I'll be honest with you, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Well, you got a great coaching staff here. You got coaches who care. You got an organization that cares about you, an organization that's here for you, who wants you to succeed. And you got guys like myself who are too old to do it anymore, but who come around because we want to see you guys and we want to be a part of what you're building for the future. We want to be a part of your greatness. So when you guys are great, we can go, yeah, that's my boy. That's my team. And we take a lot of pride in being New York Giants, as we hope you do. So, all right, so y'all come on in here and break it up, man. All right, what we gonna do?
You can kill it once they break it down.
1, 2, 3.
The G-Men bringing Giants pride back. And also, Strahan's trying to repair his image. He had the Eagles flag. He yelled "Fly Eagles, fly" with Saquon before the Super Bowl. You guys remember? All the comments online remember. People don't forget. It was recent. You got to repair your image. They're telling you to go to Philly. Strahan's like, no, I'm here day one. And speaking of Philly, young Philly Bull, Abdul Carter, you got to give this kid a break. Please give Abdul Carter a break. He's a young guy from Philly that was out there in Happy Valley. He's going to learn about New York. It takes all of us a little time to learn about New York. And Abdul Carter, he tripped up with the asking LT for his number and then won Phil Simms' number. I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine. I mean, the Giants set the precedent last year, letting Malik Neighbors unretire a number, but he stepped out of pocket with this one today. He's a Philly Bull. He's a Philly Bull. He should be a Sixers fan, right? But now with go New York, go and this Knicks fever, everybody's a Knicks fan. Abdul Carter wants to go to the Knicks game. Listen to what this guy had to say about going to the Knicks game.
So your tweet, jump in there, you're on the Knicks bandwagon now?
Yeah, I gotta catch the game. I want some floor seats to see it up close. Just being up 2 right now versus the Celtics, the champions. I feel like they're on a really good run. I'm starting to become a fan.
You say you want what? You say you want some floor seats? Young man. Hey, listen, you just got here. You haven't played it down. You won't play it down. The Knicks season will be long done before you actually do anything for the New York Giants. They're not putting you in celebrity row. They're not putting your feet on the hardwood. You know how much money that costs? You know how much pain you got to put in as a Knicks fan to sit there? Abdul Carter, man, he's great. He's going to be a great player. He's going to wear number 51. I predicted that he would take 51. It's available. But I thought, 12 would go to the quarterback, Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart looks the part. He's got the hair. He's got the diamond chains. I mean, he's coming out of Ole Miss like Eli. And today I watched on YouTube the Life of a Giant series that they're doing. If you're a Giants fan, it's, like 13 minutes. Go watch Abdul Carter, his draft day, him coming into the organization. And I watched Jackson Dart as well. And it is obvious that they like this kid. It is obvious why they traded back into the first round to get this kid. It is obvious that he knows the system and is a football guy. And I don't care about the John Gruden QB camp. I watched that too. The video of his visit, I think 30 days before the draft, and them quizzing him and them putting him on the whiteboard, that's where he won over the Giants. I know there was a lot of talk about Shedeur Sanders and his meeting not going so well. From the looks of it, Jackson Dart impressed with the install, with his grasp of the offense. And, Cam Scatterbo even said so much today. We'll get to Cam, but let's talk about Jackson Dart for a minute. This kid is wearing number 6, and he's coming in here, obviously was at the Senior Bowl as well, which they showed on YouTube with the Giants coaching staff. I don't know how we all didn't see it. It was pretty obvious that he was the guy. It was never Shedeur Sanders. And yeah, we also saw them release a clip from draft night where they tried to trade up to get Cam Ward. Don't make a big deal out of that. Everybody wanted Cam Ward. Anybody that took a quarterback in this draft would have taken Cam Ward. You got to try. I don't knock the Giants for trying. Back-to-back years, they couldn't trade up to get Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels or Drake May. They gave it one last shot. But Jackson Dart is the guy. He's already getting coached up. He wants to be coached up. And you know what he did today? He won the media over. Listen to this. This is how he met the media, and he took control. You got to take control of the huddle.
Hey, first thing, before you guys ask a question, could you just introduce yourself for me, just to put the name and all that? Appreciate y'all.
I mean, he's got Art Stapleton. He's got Dan Duggan. I'm sure these guys, Charlotte Carroll, I'm sure these guys love that. I'm sure they were like, hey, I can't wait to tell you my name, where I'm from. Nice to meet you. Going to be writing a lot of articles about you. And again, Jackson Dart wanted to be a Giant. I don't know how we couldn't see it. You got to watch this Life of a Giant thing. I'm telling you, he didn't take any offense to Cam Ward. Everybody wanted Cam Ward. You know what? Cam Ward is a first-round quarterback, and the Giants also made Jackson Dart a first-round quarterback. How many quarterbacks went in the first round? Let's hear from Jackson Dart draft night when he finally got the call and talked to the Giants.
Yes, sir. How we doing? Hey, I told you this is where I wanted to be. Amen. We're excited to have you. I love you guys.
It was love at first round. 888-808-1019. He doesn't care about Cam Ward. He doesn't care that they call Cam Ward. They changed his life. They made him a first round pick. He was not supposed to be. For months, nobody had him. I remember being here the night that he beat Duke in the Tax Slayers Gator Bowl or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, this is how it starts. This kid's going to rise up the charts. He's going to rise up the ranks. And he did. And I'm not knocking him because he did everything right. He competed at the Reese Senior Bowl. He went to the combine. He threw there. He impressed at his workout. And if you're a Giants fan, lock in. If you're a Giants fan, don't think that this kid's going to be a bust. Like, he's got it all in front of him. He's got two veteran quarterbacks in front of him. He's got a coach that's going to coach him up. And this is, you can see on Brian Dable's face, if you're watching this YouTube show, Brian Dable, he called Joe Shane Joseph. He said, good job, Joseph. Shook his hand real hard. Like, you finally drafted me a quarterback, and one that checked all the boxes and one that I can work with. And they have a plan in place. They're not going to rush this kid. This is the Giants quarterback of the future. And you know what else he's going to have? The steal of the draft. I was in here with Big Mac. I think we were filling in for Evan and Tiki during the holidays, and it was Arizona State versus Texas. And Big Mac joked to me while I was in here on air, and he goes, you really do just watch sports. We're hosting a show here, man. I'm like, yo, are you not watching this game? This kid is going off. He had like 2 touchdowns, 140-something rushing yards, receiving yards. It was Cam Scataboo. I don't know if they're going to go scat or if they're going to go boo. But this guy is going to run people over. This guy is going to be breaking runs in MetLife Stadium. It's going to be him and Tyrone Tracy. He took number 44 like Ahmad Bradshaw. He's already saying, hey, if you guys want to call it thunder or lightning, whatever. And they asked him, this guy dropped to the 4th round. This guy came out during the season and said, I'm the best running back in the country. And a bunch of running backs went before him. And so they said, Kim, how do you keep that chip on your shoulder? Here's his response.
How do you keep finding the chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, how many snaps of the NFL have you seen me play? 0, right? I've proved nothing. I've proved what I am in college, but I've proved nothing at this level. So, where I'm at, I have to prove myself. And if that's for 5 years or if that's for 10 years, I'm going to continue to prove myself. I'm the best do it for the longest. So, I'll continue to do that and just work my butt off until time comes.
First day of school, everybody's starting over. Everybody's starting fresh. You got to prove it. 888-808-1019. I'm talking football at least for this first hour till we get to 8. And last but not least, this was the quote of the day. Like, if you're a football guy, you got to love to hear a guy talking like this. And I'm telling you, Giants fans are going to love watching this kid because he's a bowling ball. Cam Scataboo on, what he loves the most, what he likes to do out there on the football field. He's a physical guy.
What about the physical part of the game too?
Get in the end zone. I mean, it feels good when you run somebody over and then get in the end zone. I mean, it feels good when you get in the end zone, but imagine running someone over and then running another person over and then getting in the end zone. It's that much better, So it just shows that, when you're physical, it shows the work you put in, the weight room and how much you do to make your game better.
This guy thinks he's Mike Allstott. We're going to talk football a little bit on a Football Friday. Again, Tommy Beer will join me at 8:30 to get into the conversation about Game 3 tomorrow in the Garden. We're like some 21 hours away. And when we get closer to 9, we'll start talking about the Yanks and revving that back up again. Dial 888-808-1019. The Mets are through the top of the first. Clay innings clear with no hits, and they're in Citi Field against the Cubs. That should be a good match. Again, this is a quick show. I got to get to it. I had to have a quick open, and I wanted to just switch gears a little bit. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Call me up. Join the show. We'll be right back. Oh, yo, we're in here, but I'll be out of here soon. So Let's see what the deal is. Lewis, what up, y'all? All good, man. Just came through in the rain on the train. Make a quick show and go about my business. Levi, what's up? Jack, Jack. I seen your comment, bro. They was tweaking yesterday. You're yo. What it is? Bourbon legend, Bourbon Meyer. Pam, I always appreciate you. I know I could count on you. My man, Jay Dupree, Johnson Brand in the building. You're the moment the Oakland A's have been waiting for. Aaron Judge playing in a AAA ballpark. Yeah, place your bets. Place your bets. Place your bets. I might have to sneak some bets in later on. Hopefully the foul poles are high enough. You just made me actually think of obviously what happened in Tampa. That better not happen again, Judge. Don't pull one. Judge is quietly in a 2 for 16 mini slump, average dip from, and his on-base streak ended last game. Did Strahan have an Eagles flag? No. Yeah, so this is my McPherson brand stuff, yo. Y'all always see me with the praying hands lightning bolt, right? You always see me. I always do this, but Lindor just homered. I'm always repping the. So this is my McPherson brand praying hands lightning bolt right here, yo. That's my logo. Zing! I'm tapped in. I'm prayed up. You feel me? Let's see this Lindor homer. Yeet. Jameson Tyone. No. 2 QBs. I know because I bet over. Yeah, we thought it was going to be 3. What are Abdul Carter's numbers physically? He's not that big. Height, weight, 6'3", 251. Okay, I shouldn't say that because that seems but like for I was watching the thing today. Him next to Brian Burns, he didn't look that big next to Brian Burns, but 6'3", 250. He's got some size. Pause. So I was go Yanks, bro. That ASU Texas game was wild. Cam called his own number while it was sick, bro. He was going crazy. Mike, what up? Cam playing with a concussion in his final collegiate game will have long to. He don't care. He don't care. You can say that about any player. Exactly. That's all they do is bang. That's all they do is bang. Appreciate it, bro. This is my own gear. That's what I'm telling y'all. I'm trying to sell some merch, bro. I'm making my own. You know. I'm in here with the Ray-Bans on. Feel me? And these not the Ray-Bans that film people. These are just. I wear a mean dog pair of shades. You can't see my eyes unless my head is bent. You dig? And the dewy rag, cause I'm keeping my braids down. You heard? Yeah, Lindor is nice, bro. Right back at home. He's been killing it at home. You know I have merch, bro. You gotta check me out. You don't follow me on Twitter and Instagram? Now I gotta hit y'all with the merch link real quick, bro. See, this is what happens when you only promote yourself, bro. I need a whole promo team. I need a damn street team out here. I'm about to put the merch in here. Oh, I said the wrong shit. All right, there we go. What happens when you swear on the phone? I dump it. There's a dump button right here. This button right here. So they'll never hear it. And I never curse. I curse here, but I never curse on air. I'm a pro. And that ball is out of here. Francisco Lindor is so nice at Citi Field already. He's crazy. He just took Jameson Tyone deep. Mets are up 1-0 that fast. 888-808-1019. It's a Football Friday on the Fan. Yes, I know the Knicks play tomorrow. Yes, I know it's the greatest game of all time in Madison Square Garden, second round, game 3. Can't get a ticket, can't get in. Hard to get a ticket. I know. Oh, they're gonna price out the real fans. We'll have that conversation in about an hour. But football, the New York Football Giants, the New York Jets, and this 2025 draft class, they're in New Jersey. They're in the building. Richie in Queens, you're on the fan. I'm good. Just, I've exhausted the Knicks conversation. I was on Wednesday. I was on 5 hours last night.
Yeah, we'll pass on that. Let's talk about the draft. Yeah, good talk with Strahan. It's one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen, though. I don't want to get too far into it. What he did was just, you're a commentator. You gotta lead. He's all over. I think he's great. I love him. I love him on the game shows and everything. But just a bad look. That made no sense.
Yeah, he's big enough that he could have not done that. If it was a younger up and coming guy that had to play into the bid and I could understand. He's just, I don't know. I think it was a Saquon thing. That's what he leaned into. He did it for Saquon. But I'm like, bro, Saquon is with the division. I don't know.
You can say some positive things about him, but just don't be going with the green, with the Philly colors.
Yeah, that's forever. That video lives on the internet forever and ever.
Yeah, real quick. Look, I spoke to you before the draft, and I had a feeling with their Carter. I pushed the dart. I said they had to get a quarterback. They just had to. Is he the guy? The number? I really don't know. I think he's got some upside, but the fact is, I think me as a 65-year fan and a lot of my friends that are fans, I think we were satisfied with what we got. And plus, we got this kid Alexander, defensive tackle. So I think their front's going to be really, really good. Carter, obviously Thibodeau, and Burns. Their corners are still a question. Banks, and I love their safeties, Newbin and Holland. And I tell you, the Scooter, I watched them. I've seen a lot of college players that are great in college. As he get to that next level, his toughness, you're not gonna have an issue with that. He's not a 4-3 guy, but I think he's going to add something to it. I'd like to think Vegas is totally off base picking them 3.5, and that really hasn't budged. 3.5, really? Well, that means we're going to be out of it again in the 2nd of October. I'd like to think that we got a chance for 7 or 8 wins. I mean, obviously the division is so tough. We got to play those teams twice.
I was going to say, let's see when the schedule releases. That may change by a game. It might be 4.5 once the schedule comes out.
Yeah, do you like them, Keith, to win maybe 8 games?
No, I don't. I mean, I got to see him. I got to see him before I go that far.
But though, Keith, real quick, their key spots look fairly good. Tracy looks good. Johnson showed those stuff at tight end, and obviously Neighbors and Wilson was touting Hyatt because that guy's been dormant. That guy went to 4-3. Maybe, and obviously, they got good slot receivers. Slayton's still there.
I'll just say this, Richie. It starts in the division. If you can't win games in your they might get swept by their division. So I got to see what they look like, and I don't think Russell Wilson is much of anything right now. I don't think he's got anything left. I think he's very pedestrian. I think we're definitely going to see Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston also has the opportunity to win over that locker room with his personality. He's a little bit younger. I got to see them. They have some talented players, and like Scadaboo, I'm a fan of. I think what he is going to be is that short yardage back that can get you the 2 yards, can get you the 3 yards in goal to go situations, and then also grind them down late in games when the Giants do have a lead and it is a tight game. They don't have to throw when they have a bowling ball like that can break a tackle, run, put his head down, get an extra yard, and that is very valuable. I'm very interested as well as see Shane Bowen and this defense, because I said I would have fired the defensive coordinator last year, but they now have some better talent on defense. But there's better talent in, yeah.
I totally agree. And Keith, real quick, one comment with the Knicks, just a quick.
Mm-hmm.
If you're from Seattle and you look at them 2-0, you say I don't care, whatever. When you look at the actual statistics and you say 2-0, you say how? And obviously the shooting is killed. They make 2 or 3 more threes to get. It's not 2-0. But I'm thrilled. I think it's great. But the people to say it's a must game for the Knicks and a must game for the Celtics, it's a must game for the Celtics, obviously. So if they can get one out of two somehow, some way, it's incredible. Because we spoke about this. Nobody thought. Who thought? 2-0? Unbelievable. Always good talking to you, Keith.
Thanks for the call. It's a must game for everyone. It's the third game of a potential 7-game series. If it's a 6-game, it's a crucial game. It can swing the series to be completely one-sided for the Knicks if they go up 3-0, where it's just almost impossible for them to lose the series. I think I read a stat today that teams that go on the road and take the first 2 games in the NBA playoffs are like 24-7. So like the Knicks have, history and math on their side. But if you lose this first game on your floor, where they have lost to the Pistons, where they have not won a game since game 1 of the first round, if you lose that game, it just gives the Boston Celtics a little bit of energy, hope, their fan base some hope. It'll start to put a little doubt in your fans' mind. And the whole thing is that the Knicks haven't played great either. As bad as the Celtics have shot, as bad as the Celtics have been in the final minutes to lose the games, the Knicks haven't played their best game. They got to come out from the start and act like they're trying to put these guys away and be smart with the basketball and be efficient with the basketball. It can't come down to the last few possessions again. And also they can't go down 20, but we've done these conversations for the last few nights. We know it. We just don't know what kind of game we're going to see here. 888-808-1019. And, back to the Giants, like, it starts with talent. You need talent in the building. And I feel like for the first time in this regime's time, like, this is their team. They drafted these guys. You're going to look, or they signed these guys in free agency. You're going to look out there and you're only going to see Gettleman's guys on one hand that you can count. Not even. So, like, when you think about all the years it took to get away from Dave Gettleman's Giants to now Joe Shane's Giants and Brian Dable's Giants, this is their team. And these guys aren't going anywhere. Newsflash. If you didn't get that breaking news, like, they could win 3 or 4 games this year. They're not getting fired. They're going to trust the process. Mara and Tish are in that video too. If you're a Giants fan and you haven't gone to YouTube to watch those, Life of the Giants videos, you can learn a lot. You can see a lot in those little 14, 15-minute videos inside the draft process and, taking a look at your team. Or Giants Life. What was I call it? Day in a Life? Giants Life? It's Giants Life 2025 NFL Draft. Jackson Dart's episode just came out, and Abdul Carter's came out like a day or 2 ago. 888-808-1019. Watching the Met game. And again, the Cubs are super tough this year. Like, this is going to be a battle. But again, props to Lindor. He's been great at Citi Field. When you look at his numbers at home, he has already put the Mets on the board. Clay Holmes looks pretty good. And, the weather has held off now where they should be good to get this game in. And there should be a good crowd out there. It's not the best temperature-wise, but this starts a little stretch for the Mets where they got to beat the Cubs, they got to beat the Pirates, and then you guys know what happens a week from today. 888-808-1019. I cannot wait for the Subway Series in Yankee Stadium. The Yankees getting the first crack at hosting this thing on a weekend again, and a three-game set, and obviously the return of Juan Soto and all of that. And really the biggest thing for me is like, oh, what a play, Pete. Oh, he dropped it. The biggest thing for me is that the Yankees have the opportunity to get a win against the Mets. It's been a while. They were swept in back-to-back series last year, and I feel like, and I said this, with the whole Juan Soto thing and everything from the little brother talk and all the back and forth of the rivalry in the offseason, like, now we're in the actual season, and I think actually the Yankees are going to have a chip on their shoulder. They don't need to have one, but I think actually the Yankees organization and team are going to say, oh, yeah, let's put our best foot forward, our best lineup together, and let's go out and win these games in our building. And it's going to be fun. That's what you want as a sports fan. We're blessed to have what we have going on in the city. 2 first-place baseball teams, and obviously what the Knicks have been able to do, taking 2 games from the Celtics. And like I just said, the excitement around these new players that you drafted with the Jets and the Giants, getting to see them in the uniform, in the helmet, getting to see them practice. Like, these are young, talented guys that are added to your team. and you hope that they stay on your team and become Pro Bowlers and win championships. Back to the phone we go. Let's go to Brandon out on Long Island. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, thanks for taking the call. Appreciate it.
You got it.
I'm also looking forward to that Subway Series. That's going to be a great series. The views and the stadium suite. How do we make this Yankee team better? It just feels like every year we're a day late and $1 short. Is it getting Nolan Arenado at the trade deadline? Does that even really help? Maybe, probably not. How do we make this team better? This is not a World Series team right now. Every year it's just the same thing. Judge is another year older. Cole's another year older. It's just the same thing every year. It's just like we're almost there, but not there yet.
Yeah, well, as far as Nolan Arenado is concerned, he was scratched from the lineup a couple days ago with back spasms, and every report says that the Yankees were never in on him. They weren't going to do that. They're not going to give up what it would take to get him, and they're not taking on his contract. So they're going to have to look for another right-handed bat that can play third base. They're going to wait till the trade deadline. Cashman is not making any moves. They're just going to bring DJ LeMahieu back, and they're going to call people up, and Stanton will be back, and they'll keep plugging along.
Machine LeMahieu is done. DJ the broken machine LeMahieu is done.
Yeah, but his contract's not done. So they're going to give him another opportunity. That he played a bunch of games with the Somerset Patriots. They're going to give him another opportunity to see if he's done. Fool me, can't fool me again, but I'm willing to let him fool me again.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for the call. Have a great night.
Thanks for the call, Brandon. 888-808-1019. I mean, it is what it is. Like, DJ LeMahieu's owed $15 million this year. And is Oswald Peraza that much of a better option? And you know what? They even said they're more inclined to play him at second base. So they probably have enough film and data and stuff from watching him with the Somerset Patriots where they're like, we're not putting him on the hot corner. We got to put this guy at second base. And Jazz is down for a little while, so there's the spot for him. But, you got Yorbit Vivas here. You've got Oswaldo Cabrera at third. But ultimately, we can't really complain about too much because the emergence of guys like Trent Grisham and Ben Rice and what we're getting out of Paul Goldschmidt and obviously Aaron Judge being Aaron Judge, like, let's see what the Yankees do tonight in the Sutter Health Ballpark, this minor league ballpark. Shout out to Jay in my chat. He was like, they better have the foul poles all the way up. And I was like, oh, you just made me think of something that pissed me off in our own spring training ballpark, right? That Judge homer that didn't count. Hopefully that's all sorted out. Judge, don't pull one. 888-808-1019. Sean is in Mamaroneck on the Fan. Go for it, Sean.
Hey, what's up, kid?
Hanging out.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I sat directly behind you in section 203 the other night, and I wanted to say hi, but I didn't want to bother you.
You can't bother me. You next time tap me, just say my name. You can't bother me at the game. I talk to everybody. I'm there to talk to everybody,
Yeah. So what I wanted to say at the game, though, is I really respect how you are a real fan and that you sit in the bleachers and that you talk on the radio as a real New York fan, and there's never any BS with you, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just not acting. I'm being what I always was. Like when you see me, if you actually were sitting by me, how many people did I give a hug to? How many people did I dap up? Like I wasn't meeting those people for the first time. Like the bleacher creatures, all 30 of them that I talked to while I was in there, like I've been pulling up doing that before I was on the radio. So like, I'm just not gonna change. So even when I come in here, I'm the same person. I'm the same every way. There's no shtick. There's no gimmick. I'm not acting. I can't act. I can't put in, so like the same way you see me out there is the way I am in here. So I appreciate that, bro. Next time, say what's up. Yeah, next time, say what's up, though. I don't think anybody should be like nervous or starstruck around me. I've been in that stadium for years and nobody said a word to me besides the creatures and the people that I actually know. So yeah, don't feel any kind of way, man.
All right. Enjoy your night.
That's it. You don't have a Yankee take? You don't want to talk about Nolan Arenado, or you don't want to blame Brian Cashman for something? What about Aaron Boone? You guys wanted to hate on Aaron Boone all week, no? Devin Williams? No? All right, well. I thought he was just starting with like I saw you. I know it was you. You were there for the roll call, and I know this is the same guy on the radio, but What do you think about the Oakland A's? They're pretty good this year. We're gonna lose this series. Well, they're not the Oakland A's, the Sacramento A's, the Athletics. Whenever, yeah, it's just ATH. But whenever the Yankees go out west, they always have a letdown. They'll lose one stupid game to, like, when Domingo Herman had the perfect game. I remember being on the fan. They lost the first game by like a run, and I was so mad because I stayed up late and I got on the fan and I lied. I'm like, I'm going to bed tonight, and I go home and I'm watching the game and I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm not going to bed, but I don't think I tweeted or anything. I'm like, this is about to be a perfect game. I'm about to see a perfect game. I'm not going to sleep. And then I came back the next day like, yo, that was great. Sorry if you went to bed. Here we are again. Hopefully that, that minor league ballpark is a better ballpark or situation than the Coliseum. The Coliseum was bottom two ballparks in baseball. There's like rats and sewage and like the way the dugouts were set up. The guys didn't even want to sit in the dugouts because of how dirty and nasty and smelly it was. Hopefully this ballpark is better, and hopefully the Yankees go out there and sweep. But I
was it like 2 years ago, the Angels series? I think they got swept, and maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago. And like I was obviously with you on air, and you were so frustrated that they just couldn't beat these teams that you know they're better than, and for some reason they just couldn't beat.
Yeah, they lost to Anaheim, and then on the same road trip they lost to the Colorado Rockies, and I just was like, this is not a good team. They're showing you that they're not a good team. I don't know what you guys need to see, but that was more in like July of the season. This is so early in the season. We know this is a good team. We know that they've left wins on the table. We know that they should be better than they are. And honestly, Wednesday night was the game of the season, and I'm glad I was there to see it live because what it showed me was that these guys are going to fight, that these guys are going to win however they can win. It doesn't have to be Judge saving the day. When Max Fried is on the mound, they have to win. And they needed to take that series, and they did against a good Padres team. Now, I hope they don't take the Athletics lightly because if the season ended today, which obviously I just said it's early, it's May 9th, but if the season ended today, the Athletics are the last wild card. The Athletics have the same amount of wins as the Yankees. No, one less. They have 20 wins. The Yankees have 21, and that ball is out of here. Brett Beatty. Jameson Tyone, what the hell is going on? What the hell? He raised the apple. That's Brett Beatty's second homer of the year. And the Mets take the lead 2-0 with the black jerseys and the white pants. And it's a party in Flushing on a Friday night. Let's take a break here. Keith McPherson on the fan. I'm probably going to keep talking football, but, the calls start coming in Yankees. And I obviously like to talk Yankees. And we can definitely talk about the Mets, Mark Vientos not being in the lineup, Jeff McNeil DHing, some baseball. I just was like, all right, man, I got to take a break from the Knicks mania. But reminder, Tommy Beer will join us at 8:30 to continue the Knicks conversation. So don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. Okay. All right, y'all. I'll be right back.
like yours, Steve.
He should do as many as he.
I know. Well, the issue is, you're live.
Yeah. I'll cut the mic. Three zip Mets. All right, I gotta catch up in the chat. I got a minute here. Let's see. Yo, what's good? No, I don't know. I'm not even betting tonight. I don't have a good feeling about this game tonight. Will Warren's on the mound. Shout out to Jackson King. Say that. Firstborn. Appreciate it. Pete and Lindor. Yeah, they're nice. But go Yanks. All right, I'm back on. Queen's best dance crew knows how to party. They're having a party up there at Citi Field. 3 homers. And like right before I went to break, Brett Beatty homered, and I was like, we'll talk Mets a little bit. Jeff McNeil in the lineup. I took a call yesterday about Jeff McNeil. I'm like going over how he's only had 35 at bats and just give him some time. And he's a veteran. He's a part of the fabric of this team, and he can play multiple positions. And I know some Met fans hate him, and then they just went a back-to-back and a belly-to-belly off of Jameson Taillon. I don't hate the Mets. These are my Mets. I never watched the Mets this much. I don't. I just hate some of their corny-ass fans. Not all of their fans. Don't put your hands up. Not you, Paulie. They just got some weirdos in there. They be in my mentions and my DMs. They don't ever leave me alone. They're obsessed. And then they say I'm obsessed. I'm like, nah, my job is to talk about the Mets and Juan Soto. I'm not obsessed. I'm working. Well, because it's funny, man. It's like, I mean, still Juan Soto. I think you can skew the numbers. You could cherry pick some numbers to say Juan Soto's been good in his last 10 games, more like what we're used to seeing from him. But yeah. No, I'm a Yankee fan. He doesn't play for the Yankees. And if a Met fan asked me to worry about Juan Soto, who is now stepping to the plate with a runner on second, no, Juan Soto is the least of your worries, actually. Like, he's here for 15 years. You're going to live the rest of Juan Soto's career. There's going to be good times, there's going to be down times, but what it is, the rent-free part is the Yankee fan living rent free in the Met fan head, because Yankee fans have been trolling nonstop, and the Yankee fan wants to feel good about not paying Juan Soto $760 million, and also say, hey, look at the numbers from last year. He had a better start with us. So it doesn't matter. The Mets are winning. They're really good at home. They're winning this game against a good Cubs team. They're up 3-0. Let's see what Juan Soto does right here. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Buddy down in Florida. We always get, calls from all over the country. What's up, Buddy?
Hi, Keith. I just was listening to you the other night when a caller attacked you, and
it didn't hurt. I wasn't hurt. No one was harmed.
I was very, very upset because I think you run the very, very best show, and you cover every single sport in New York so professionally.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. And you know what? Like, I got a couple messages, and like, I don't care about that stuff. That stuff doesn't bother me. I've had a lot worse said and done to me, but like, I got a lot of messages and comments from people that were like, yo, I was driving here or I was working here and I heard that and that rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like that. I wanted to reach out to you. And I was like, well, damn. Like, I don't know. I guess I got some people out there that do really like me, do really love what I do. So thank you for that, buddy.
We love you. And the thing is that had the guy had a different approach, I think you would have had a conversation with him.
I try and have a conversation with everybody. I gave him a leash, even though he was disrespectful. I'm like, okay, get it out of your system. You waited on hold for an hour. You got to say what you wanted to say to me. Now, can we have a conversation about the Yankees or the Knicks or the Mets or whatever it is? Like, you don't have to love the host. You don't have to love me. You also don't have to listen to free public streaming radio. Like, it's not that serious.
Yeah, you can turn it off.
I'm not making you. I'm not forcing you. But I guess, I don't know. I don't know. Like, you can't please everybody, and I don't aim to.
You're fabulous. Anyways, I wanted to tell you that I'm glad that the Pittsburgh Pirates finally fired Derek Shelton. He lost control of the team. He lost control of Paul Skeens. It was a bad situation. Hopefully they'll do better.
Everything over there is all bad. They got to fire the owner. They got to fire. It's just bad. That viral video of the usher fighting a fan, the fan fighting the usher. The team is 12-26. It's just a mess.
So that comes from the top because Nutting is a billionaire over, and he really should sell the team.
Yeah, but why would these guys sell the team? Like, I don't know. There's no real reason to sell a baseball team. You can make so much money if you do it the right way. But I think it's a mess. They need to fire everybody. The Pirates, I've been out there. I love PNC Bank or PNC Park. PNC Bank is down in Homedale. It's such a great culture and game day vibe when you go to Pittsburgh. But they've been bad for so long. Like, their fans they're beat up.
And the thing is that the Pittsburghers, when Paul Skeens was a rookie, they sold out. So if you put on a competitive team in Pittsburgh, you're going to draw.
Yeah, it's pretty simple math. Thanks for the call, buddy. 888-808-1019. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do in Pittsburgh, but they come here next. Right now, the Pittsburgh Pirates are up 1-0 in the middle of the fifth inning over the Braves. And yeah, the Mets will host them next. I think it was Al Cintrone on Twitter who said that the Pirates should hire Buck Showalter. They should hire Buck Showalter before this upcoming series in Citi Field. What happened here? I just missed that at bat. Let me go back. Juan Soto lines out sharply to left. So Juan Soto didn't get a hit there. Jeff is in Westfield, New Jersey on the Fan next. What's up, Jeff?
I should take my call, Keith. I don't know how anybody could say anything bad about you. My son, Jim Mack, and I, we love listening to you. I know he's talked to you a bunch of times. You have the best show and the best insight, and you're a Yankee fan like us. But one complaint I have with the Yankees, which I've had forever, is all these lineup switches. It's like, baseball's all about being comfortable in your spots. And Boone or Cashman, who's ever doing it every day, switching the lineups around, and then and we're jerking around and let Williams find his stuff. We're up 3-0, 4-0, giving away every game. I mean, to me, you can't give away those games. It's going to come back to haunt us at the end of the season. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, both of those things are kind of part of their identity and what the Yankees do. They always have different lineups, and they always try to build up confidence in their relievers that have blown it, and they're just going to keep going back to them, and they're not going to shy away from it, and we just got to, brace for impact. It's funny because they'll put together a lineup, and we'll look at the lineup, and we'll say punt lineup, or this lineup sucks, or what's his lineup, and then the lineup will perform. And then also, like, I was at the game Wednesday. Devin Williams came out of the bullpen. I heard the reaction of the crowd, and I'm like, I'm going to go. And I listened to it in the car, and I was like, sheesh, it worked. It worked, and we needed him to win that game. So you're 100% correct about the math, though, and something I always say is the math is the same. When you blow those games early in the year, like that could be the difference between home field advantage in the World Series. But they're going to keep going back to them, and we just got to stay buckled in and strapped in for the ride and hope for the best. But there's going to be different lineups. All right, DJ's coming back. Stanton's coming back. They'll have Grisham lead off. They've had Ben Rice lead off. They've had Goldschmidt lead off. They've had Austin Wells lead off. They just keep tweaking and trying things, especially in the beginning of the year, because they feel like they do have so much time. They do have the math on their side to figure it out.
All right, that next point, too. I'm excited for the Knicks tomorrow, but I just don't understand how Dick just keeps playing Bridges 50 minutes a game when you've got these other guys on the bench, like Clyde comes in as an offense, even Tucker or Precious. I would give them some minutes. I mean, they're just so worn down. I mean, these teams are good, but, they just need to play some more players. What are your thoughts on that?
Thanks for the call, Jeff, and appreciate the way you started the call. What I'll say is Tibbs plays who he trusts. PJ Tucker's not getting in the game. Precious Achiuwa only got in the game because they did the hack of Mitch, and it was like, all right, well, the foul trouble. Cat got in foul trouble. Mitch got in foul trouble, so they kind of had to. But he's going to play 8 guys. He's going to play his starters. He's going to play Mitchell Robinson, Campaign, and Deuce McBride. And, I mean, so far, pretty good. And, you talk about Bridges playing 51 minutes in the overtime game. He's Gumby. I know he's an Iron Man, but he's got like a Gumby-type body. This guy can just run and jump, and, like, he's bouncy at the end of the game. He's blocking shots. He's taking the ball. Like, he's built for that. And the Knicks are built for that. They are conditioned. They are in better shape than the Celtics, and they are healthier right now than the Celtics. So that bodes well for them. The Celtics aren't running their whole bench either. Hauser's hurt, and Porzingis can't really go that long. So the Knicks matching up with the Celtics right now with Tatum's injury and Brown's injury, like, they're good. And these guys want to play. It's the playoffs. They do not want to come off the floor. 888-808-1009. It's almost 8 o'clock. In a half hour, Tommy Beer will join us. I keep dropping Tommy Beer's name as if you guys all know Tommy. I think you do if you're a Knicks fan and if you're online. I just think he's been doing great work. He's the author and founder of Knicks-centric Substack, and I've watched his tweets. He's just never wavered. He had confidence in the Knicks in the first game and the second game, and he's hit a bunch of stats. I think he was on with Gordon Damer on Sunday. So he's going to join us at 8:30 to talk about Game 3. But I've got a full rack of calls. Can't wait to talk to you about the Giants, about the Yankees, about the Mets. Keep McPherson on the fan. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
Oh.
Back to the chat. I just got a lot going on, as always, when you're live on air and watching a game. and answering tweets and text messages. Appreciate all of you. 400. We're about to hit 400. Cool.
If you want to laugh, go to Connor's Twitter.
Okay. Well, I was muted because Paulie was showing me something that had nothing to do with this live stream. We're on break. I'm trying to catch up in the chat, but you guys are doing your thing. I was asking about yesterday's car that dropped the F-bomb. How much time do you dump it before? So I have a quick trigger finger. As soon as somebody says the S word or the F word or even anything questionable about, like, I dump it. Just better safe than sorry. It doesn't matter. Like it, and I think it's a 3-second delay. So you caught that on here, but no one heard that on air. Some inside baseball. The people on hold can hear that. Right. It was funny to hear it on YouTube, but then not when you listen back on Odyssey. Right. Because it gets dumped. Odyssey is always on a delay from the radio. So when we dump the live radio, that doesn't hit the app. Yeah, I have my shades on from being outside. Now I got my blue light glasses on. I got to remember to wear them more. I'm tired. I went to sleep last night at like 2:30. I got up to help my wife at like 7 with my son, and then I just stayed up and did things. And I'm like, I did that on purpose because I'm done tonight early. I want to go to bed tonight. Usually I don't go to sleep till 3:30, 4 in the morning. So the blue light glasses help because you guys know, like, blue light like kills your melatonin, and you'll see spots, and it's hard to come down and close your eyes and relax after staring at the phone and the computer and even being under these bright studio lights. Yo, what up? 2000 World Series? You're saying Knicks versus OKC finals? Maybe. Yeah, last night they were actually playing the 2000 World Series on Yes Network. What up? What up? Keith, if you're at the Sunday Subway Series game, I'll also say hello. I'm trying to go. I'm definitely going Friday, maybe Saturday. I'm trying to go, but I think I might have to actually do the show here on that Sunday. Met Keith in Tampa and the airport with his fam. He's cordial and approachable, tremendous dude. I'm just humble. God humbled me a long time ago. So, like, even though people think I'm some type of like celebrity or like this radio stuff, like, makes me like, I'm not rich. I'm not famous. I'm lit though. Like, I know I'm good. I know, like, I know I got the juice and all that, but like, I always say great, not greater than. I know I'm great, but I'm not greater than anybody. Everybody is a human being. Everybody deserves respect. And like, I've also been around some people that are rich and are famous and seen them treat people like crap. And I'll never be that way, even when I am rich. DJ LeMayu is cooked. Yeah, I guess so.
Good evening at 8 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman, the Yanks in West Sacramento tonight. Still got to get used to that as they open a 6-game road swing with 3 against the A's with Will Warren on the mound, and coverage on the fan will begin at 9:25. The Mets are back home and pounding the Cubs early 3-0 in the bottom of the third. Francisco Lindor got the party started with a leadoff homer for the fourth time this year. Brett Beatty added his second inning later, and then 2 batters later, Jeff McNeil pulled one into the right field seats. Rookie mini camps opened today for the Jets and Giants. Jackson Dart settled in and said it was a seamless transition for himself and the other Giants offensive rookies. Dart is wearing number 6, while Abdul Carter settled on a number 51. He was a participant today as well. In the NBA playoffs tonight, the Cavaliers, after finishing with the top record in the East, find themselves down 2-0 to the Pacers. Game 3 in Indiana, and Cleveland rallying off to the early 19-8 lead. And after 1 in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Maple Leafs on top of the Panthers by a score of 2-1. Toronto leads that best-of-7 series 2-0. This report is brought to you by ServPro, cleanup, restoration, and construction. Visit servpro.com. And that's what's happening. I'm Rich Ackerman. All right, I'll see you next week.
You're done, right? You're on the other side for another one?
Yeah.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, RLS.
I don't know how I feel about this drop, Paulie. This is Harrison Bader's walk-up music. This is a little suspect for me. 50 though, I understand. Queens, get the money. They're doing it up in Queens right now. Mets are up 3-0 inside the 8 p.m. hour on the Fan in New York. Your nighttime host, Keith McPherson. Not a KM to AM. I'm just on between Loogie and Yankees baseball. So we've got a bunch of people online. We've started off with the Giants rookie mini camp and Cam Scattaboo and Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter. Started talking a little bit about the Jets as well. They're just not as sexy right now. The Giants had a little bit better draft, and they've got the guys with the personality that are making all the headlines and quotes. I talked a little bit about the Yankees, and I'm content with the Yankees right now. I told y'all this week I spiraled and I went down the rabbit hole of negativity. Negative Keithy, bad Keithy. I said a lot of things about Devin Williams. I took them back. I apologize. We need Devin Williams. And I'm okay with the Yankees after they took that series from the Padres. As far as the Mets are concerned, I wouldn't sweat the whole Mark Vientos thing. I wouldn't sweat Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil's already homered, and Jeff McNeil is going to come along and keep doing his thing. They have enough hitters. They have the pitching. And this is a big test against the Cubs. And right now, they're passing that test. As we speak, in the bottom of the third, Brett Beatty is up again with 2 on and 1 out. And I think the Mets are locked in. They know that in their building, they play a certain way. And then also the level of competition they're facing with the Cubs is a challenge. So let's keep it rolling. At 8:30, we'll lean more into the Knicks conversation. But it's good to kind of take a break and get a breather from all the go New York, go New York, go. Ray in Brooklyn on the Fan. What's up, Ray?
Hey, Keith, how are you, brother?
Good, always good. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking the call. Listen, I just wanted to piggyback on what people were talking about. You got a fan base like the Knicks, bro. You gotta have Knicks, you gotta have fans, you gotta have haters, bro. They don't like the show, they don't have to listen to it. Your real fans know you're a real dude, you're a good guy. They're like the Knicks, bro. You just gotta do what you do.
High praise. I can't be compared to the Knicks right now. Their fans are mobbing outside Madison Square Garden. They're going viral. They're taking over TD Garden. Their fan base is much stronger than my listenership and the people that support me. But I appreciate it, Ray. I know who I am. I know what I do. I try to stay humble and be as modest about it as I can. But, some people don't like that. And I said before, I'm not trying to please everybody. I come in here. I try to do a good job. I'm working on it every day. I'm learning more every day. And, that's going to rub somebody the wrong way. And I also have grace. Like people got things going on in their life. Like that young man that I spoke to yesterday, he sounded like he was mad at something. He sounded like something was going on. Like if you're going to wait on hold for an hour to tell me to not talk about my family or stop, making the show about myself. I'm like, what are you talking about, buddy? Like I've been doing this for 4 years. It's my show every night. Who else am I supposed to make it about? Who else am I supposed to talk about?
Yeah, exactly. Talk about you. I mean, I started to call you last night when you said you still got your original Nets jersey. I still sport my Kenyon Martin jersey.
Oh, bro, I've got them. I've got Drazen Petrovic. I've got Jason Kidd. I've got Vince Carter. I'm not wearing them in these New York streets right now. It's not safe out here for Nets fans. It's Knicks tape.
I'm gonna be me. I sport the classics, bro.
Heard you.
You know, and you hit on something just to switch gears. You touched on something last night with the Knicks playing Boston. We gotta have consistency. We got the first 2 games in Boston, but we gotta stay consistent.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it's a series, and this is the biggest game. Like, the games get bigger the further you go. Let's see what happens here. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. It's not a night game. It's a 3:30 start on a Saturday. That's different. Yeah, we're gonna talk all around it. But whoever takes this game, right? If the Celtics take it, they're back in the series. If the Knicks take it, I think the series is over. Thanks for the call and the compliments, Ray. Appreciate it. 888-808-1019. Nets fans, hold it down. The lottery is coming. This Nets world will be rebuilt. But, like, I'm just saying, if you're a Nets fan right now, stand down. I understand there's some Nets fans that are mad about the Knicks, but, like, are you rooting for Boston? I'm never rooting for Boston in any capacity. I'm never rooting for the Patriots. I'm never rooting for the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Bruins. Like, I never even physically, like, I've been there once. Oh, wait, I'm about to say something about myself. Excuse me. The only time I've ever been to Boston was when I was playing football for James Madison University, and we went to play Northeastern. I don't want to offend anybody out there by sharing a story from my life. I'm just adding context about the only time I've ever taken a trip to Boston. Wellesley in Connecticut on the Fan. What's up, bro? Welcome back.
Oh, well, K-Mac, what's up, my friend?
You know, watching the Mets put up a 5-spot in 3 innings. Brett Beatty again. He drives in 2 runs, and it's 5-0 Mets. They're holding it down against the Cubs. They're making the Cubs not look so mighty.
Yeah, well, you know what, Keith, I gotta be. I tell you, you know what, you're a class act. I could care less what anybody says. It's negative. You know that those people are insecure about their own lives. But listen, you know what? I gotta tell you, when we would talk, a couple of times, I said, my last name's Wells, and obviously my nickname when I was playing sport was Wellsy. And I swear to you, not even D Sims was like, Wellsy came through, and he's like, Austin. Well, that I think that was K-Mac in action. Judge said it, bro. Judge said Wells, he does a good, I'm like, what? So I was very impressed.
They all do it. It's judgy. It used to be Glaby. They literally call Oswaldo Cabrera Cabby. They it's like their nicknames for each other. So Wellesley is a easy one. Volpe.
It puts a smile on my face, man. It brings me back to my childhood. That's all. I've been playing sports, But listen, I just got a question for you because, again, I appreciate and respect your knowledge. But you know what? The basketball, the NBA, the 3-point rule, right? Let me ask you a question, or what your thoughts about this. What's the average amount of shots are taken in the NBA? 3 points are about. It seems like it's every game an average about between 60 to 65. Is that safe to say?
That's too much, I think. I don't think they're taking that many.
What would you say it was?
In this modern day NBA, like 40, 50.
Okay. My point is this. I think that takes away from the excitement of real good, down-home, hard, basketball play. You know what I mean? The 3-point play, I think, should be limited, meaning that every team should be limited. Okay, you have opportunity. You can use it. Your whatever the average is. That every team has that per game, a certain percentage that they have an opportunity to throw 3-pointers up. But if you run out and it's towards the end, if you have none left, you can't utilize it. So it makes them it's forcing them to play defense. You know what I'm saying? The 3-point. It takes away from the real true defense.
Thanks for the call, Wellesley. They're never doing that. It's never changing. It's not going back. Let's go back because actually I'm watching this Mets game and I'm like, think I missed something. It wasn't Brett Beatty who drove in the runs. He did single. It was Luis Angel Acuna. He grounded into a force out. Brandon Nimmo scored. Francisco Alvarez scored. Brett Beatty was at second. So the Mets go up 5-0, but mama, here comes that man, Kyle Tucker. They told me Kyle Tucker was better than Juan Soto, and he homers for his 10th homer of the year over Juan Soto's head. So now the Cubs are on the board. 5-1 Mets. We've got a game going on in Citi Field. 888-808-1019. Let's get these calls in before I get to my guest. Carolyn in Manhattan on the Fan. How you doing?
Hi, Keith. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
Okay?
Yes.
Great. I have a question about Rafael Devers. If he asked to be traded, and if the Red Sox were crazy enough to do it, would you see the Yankees as a good landing spot for him?
I would take his bat in a second. I've been in Yankee Stadium and seen him homer at least 5 times, but I don't think the Red Sox are dumb enough to do that. They wouldn't do that with the division rival, with the rival, and I don't see any way that they would do that. Thanks for the call, Carolyn. Just trying to move it along before we go to Tommy Beer, big time Knicks fan, big time Knicks guy on Twitter. 8:30. We're gonna bring him in. John, out in Oxford, Connecticut. You're next on the Fan. Go for it.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. Thanks for taking the call. Listen, you've been throwing a lot of flowers towards the Giants. I'm just curious where you think they're going to end this season in the division with the two, the Super Bowl champion and the Washington and obviously the Cowboys. Do you think they've done enough to get out of the basement?
So this is what I think about the Giants. I like the talent that they drafted and some of the talent that they brought in this offseason. I think coming off of the disaster that last year was, losing 10 years, like they needed this, like to win the fan base back. I think they won a good part of the fan base back, but that doesn't translate into winning games. They do have the toughest strength of schedule. Let's see when the schedule comes out, where they'll be flying to, when they'll be flying to them, rather, who they'll be hosting when. Like, let's see how that shakes out. They have to. It just sucks because they have to face so many established teams that already have like quarterbacks and Pro Bowl players and coaches that have been in place for years, where just in your mind you feel like they can't win. But I go back to Brian Daboll's first year when the cupboard was bare, when the roster had nobody on it, and they were able to steal games. They were able. It's about defense. If they can play defense, I expect their offense to be a lot better than it's been in the past. And if they can play defense and actually score like an NFL offense, I do expect them to steal games late. That's the NFL. These one-score games that are a field goal or touchdown difference late, or even just like 4 or 5 points late, I expect them to steal 2 or 3 games like that. So that 3.5 over under, I think that's going to go up when the schedule comes out. It'll probably be 4.5. And, I think Richie in Queens is like, do I think they can win 8 games? I don't think they can win 8 games just because it's going to be tough to beat the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Cowboys because of what they have already done and who they have. Like Dak Prescott comes back. They just added George Pickens. The Cowboys have Micah Parsons. They have a bunch of other, good players. You know what the Commanders are and the Eagles are because they played in the NFC Championship last year. Could they take a step back? Yes. Do injuries happen every year? Yes. But I don't,
could go through a sophomore slump.
No, that kid is, he's amazing. I actually fear that he gets better.
That's the same thing they said about Stroud, and he did kind of have a sophomore slump.
Yes, you're correct about that, but Jaden Daniels has a running element that Stroud doesn't have, and they're also they put Deebo Samuel over there, and there's somebody else that they added this offseason where I think the Commanders are going to be good again, and Jaden Daniels' second year in the NFL, he might take a step forward. Thanks for the call, John. We're far out. By the time August comes, I'll make that prediction week 1 before we go into the season, where I think they're going to finish. But so far, so good. Coming off of that disaster of a year, bringing in some talent and free agency, and having a hell of a draft for the New York Giants. There's talent in the building. And when you have talent in the building and you have coaching in the building, you should be able to go out there and compete on Sundays. They're not going to be getting blown out. They're not going to be embarrassing themselves. It should be a much better product on the field. Let's go to Jimmy in Forked River next. Jimmy, you're in there.
How are you, Keith? It's Jimmy Mack, president of the Jersey Shore. Keith McPherson.
Thanks.
Hey, here's what I was thinking about today. How would you like Did you talk about it all, or how would you like to be Bill Belichick today?
Oh my God, that guy he's he's probably so the reports today is his little 24-year-old girlfriend is banned from the football facilities, and then that gets retracted. He's probably like, oh, this is not what I really like. Bill Belichick has completely changed his image in the last year, right? I think like this time last year we thought the Jets were going to bring him in for an interview, and now we're talking about this girl is running his life, and it's just bad. It is not a good look. And I just don't see how this guy went from winning all those Super Bowls and being this great guy that was in charge and like controlled the media and controlled these, these big bad players to now it's like this girl has him wrapped around her finger. How?
It must be when she bats those eyelashes.
Yeah, you could leave it at that, Jimmy. Thanks for the call, Jimmy. Forked River in the house. Neptune on top, up the hill. 888-808-1. Down the hill as well. I used to stay up the hill. Up the hill, down the hill. You know, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Mark in Huntington, New York on the fan. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Keith. How you doing tonight?
Great. Watching the Mets game, taking calls, talking Yanks, talking Giants, little Knicks coming up.
I was listening last night, and that caller really bothered me. It really bothered me because, you've worked really hard, you've grown, and it's all about personalities. That's why the fan exists. I don't want to hear sports come from a robot. I could tell you all about the lives of all of the hosts because I listen all the time. I know their kids' names. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know where that guy.
That's what I said. I thought that was a little odd. I was like, I listened to the fan, and obviously I know everybody in here, but I'm like, even before I was in here, like I knew Moose's whole family, like through listening to Moose talk. Evan Roberts, Sal Licata, BT, like we're human beings. We're fathers. We have kids, and like we all have stories and paths that got us here. And our family was a part of that every step of the way. How can you come in here and turn your family off? How can you come in here and not ever talk about your upbringing or how you were raised or what influence your family had on you that made you the man and the person and the host that you are? I don't know. That had nothing to do with me. That was all about that guy.
But it's just like it really bothered me because it just shows he doesn't get it. People listen because of people, because of guys like you that are delivering the information and the opinions and the talk. So that's all I got.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mark. I know my favorite host or favorite podcasters or favorite people to listen to talk sports or listen to talk about anything, entertainers, rappers, musicians. I have a deeper connection with them when I know about where they're from, what their family structure was like, how they were raised. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know how many hours I've done on the fan? The caller last night was like, you make it all about yourself. I'm like, no, I don't, dude. I mean, I bring it around and I add things about myself. And then, he's like, stop talking about your family. I'm like, what did I talk about my family? I had a caller ask how I became a Nets fan. So that goes back to when I was a wee little lad coming up in Ocean Township, New Jersey. But like, listen, for anybody out there, never feel like you can't talk about your family. You should be proud of your family and where you come from. I know my family's proud of me. I know my family, if any of them were listening, I think my mom was listening. I was just texting my mom a little bit about it. And it's just like, it's just weird energy. It's weird energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't bring that this way. We're having a good time. We're talking sports, and it can't just be sports, right? It can't just, if it was just sports, they could start programming artificial intelligence. We could just have bad tiki hosts all day, every day, and talk about the sports. Or like, I don't know, isn't there a Tommy version, a negative Tommy? Or yeah, we could just have AI of all the hosts, and they could just spit out stats and history and give you guys updates and stuff like that all day. No, this is a human element here because the radio is the most intimate platform. I won't lead us either.
Lead us.
It's just eerie because it's like, I don't know if that's actual Tommy, but I know it's the same. It's like the same exact way and like, shout out to Tommy for his character. I don't have any characters. When I come in, like the guy that called, I don't remember now because I've taken so many calls, and it's like, I saw you at the stadium, and like, it's great that you come in here and you talk like a fan. No, I don't talk like a fan. I talk like myself. I am a fan of all this stuff. I've told you guys over and over again. All I do is watch sports. and read articles on sports and watch games and watch old sports stuff. And when I'm at the game, I'm the same. And when I'm on the air, the same. I don't have a shtick. I couldn't come in here and give takes and say, oh, that was this version of me, or that was, like, you know what I'm saying? I just try to keep it real. I try to be authentic, and I hope that's enough. And I think it's definitely enough for majority of the people listening. 888-808-1019. Let's break it down. We're going to go get Tommy Beer. This is where we'll actually lean into the Knicks conversation. And fret not, we'll come back around because the Yankees play tonight. The Mets are on right now. And like I said, the Jets and the Giants got to see their rookies put on the helmet. So Tommy Beer, the author and founder of the world-renowned Knicks-centric Substack. He is a diehard Knicks fan, and he's just been on it on Twitter through this whole run. We'll chat with him about Game 3. This is Keith McPherson on The Fan. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. Can't be right. Oh boy. I guess I took that shift, bro. I just went back to text and told him like I have a family party to be at tomorrow. The generational Juan Soto. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to find somebody to cover. I'm like, I don't know if I'm able to. I don't know. I gotta talk to my wife tonight. Chat, there's a lot going on. Yeah. Yeah, they got to play this outside the Garden tomorrow a couple times. New York State of Mind. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Joining us right now is the guy I've been hyping up, Tommy Beer. You know, I just think he does great work on Twitter, writing about the Knicks, and I just saw his faith in the Knicks. Again, I'm plugging his Knicks-centric Substack. You can find him on Twitter at Tommy Beer. What's up, Tommy? Are you there?
Mind playing, getting me hyped up, and appreciate the kind words, Keith.
Yeah, it's a special time in the city. I don't remember a feeling like I had being in Yankee Stadium and seeing that many strangers celebrating, watching on their phones, high-fiving, chanting "Let's go Knicks," and then, just walking around the city. Everybody's got Knicks gear on. You're seeing some old school Knicks gear coming out the closet, and it's because the Knicks are good and they're up 2-0 in a series that nobody expected them to be up 2-0.
100%. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You're a little bit younger than myself. I'm in my mid-40s now. Nothing unites the city quite like the Knicks. When the Knicks are doing well in the early 90s, in the mid-90s, the late 90s, there's obviously Mets and Yankees rivalry, Ranger Islanders, Jets, Giants, etc. But when the Knicks are the basketball team in town, and when they're really playing well and going on a serious run, and fans think like, hey, they have a chance to really do some special things. It really brings people together. You wear orange and blue anywhere. In New York, Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, you're going to get a lot of daps and hugs and honks, and people just appreciate and get excited for what's coming up.
Yeah, it's just the history. It's just so many years of the Knicks being in the middle of Manhattan and so many generations that watched the Knicks and passed it down. Let me ask you, who made you a Knicks fan? Is it something in your family? Did you do it yourself? Like, how did you become a diehard Knicks fan?
Yeah, it's coming up. Born and raised Long Island, Baldwin, and my father was a more of a Yankee fan, and Giant fan, more of a football, baseball fan. But my friend group, my peer group, big basketball fans. Had some Bulls fans mixed in there with the time around Jordan. And just, rooting for Patrick. I think if, you're going to ask me what made me a Knicks fan, I think it was watching Patrick Ewing play every night, John Starks, Anthony Mason, Oakley. The effort, the heart, the way those guys played. They weren't the flashiest. They weren't the most athletic. They weren't as cool as MJ and all those other dudes. But the way they played, the effort they put forth, really made me proud to be a fan. Even when they didn't capture the title, they always left you something to be excited about. And I think that's another reason why this Knicks team has kind of generated so much enthusiasm and love from Knicks fans all over. It's because of the way they play, the humility of Brunson and Hart. There's just I think the best thing you can say about a lot of these guys, OG, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, obviously, is that they would have fit in right with the 90s Knicks. And to me, and probably the 70s Knicks as well before my time, but that's the biggest compliment you can give a basketball player.
Yeah, you're in the right age group. I feel like the 40-something-year-old Knicks fans were old enough to appreciate the 90s Knicks, definitely old enough to be around for the 2000s. And then now with this group, they're going on 24 years, 25 years without an Eastern Conference Finals, and they're halfway there. How are you feeling about their chances to take Game 3 in the Garden, the first game of this series, tomorrow? We're some like 20 hours away.
Oh, man, we got to talk about reality now. We got to talk about the Celtics, probably, you would think hitting the...
No, the reality was that the Knicks wouldn't win a game. The reality was that the Knicks were only winning one game. We don't know what's real. Everybody told me it was Celtics in 5 or a sweep.
It's a good point. Yeah, that's right. I guess they're not going to get swept, huh? I guess that talk's kind of out of the window. So looking forward, listen, I think Game 3 is incredibly important. Typically you win the first 2 on the road. You can kind of, have a little bit of leeway, maybe take your foot off the gas, exhale a little bit. The Celtics right now are shook. There's no two ways about it. We all know how important confidence is in any athletic endeavor. And right now the Celtics have to be, I know they're going to say all the right things. I know, Tatum's going to look calm and, at the press conference. But the reality is when you play as poorly as he has, and when you, as a team, collectively, you struggle, with shots you've made all season long, start to question that. If the Knicks kick their foot on the Celtics' throat and really can, put a stranglehold on the series and go up 3-0, obviously they're in incredible position. On the flip side, if the Celtics find a way to win tomorrow afternoon, then the pressure starts to shift a little bit back to New York. Are you going to blow this? You're 2 wins away from the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in two decades. Are you going to be able to close it out? Now the pressure starts to shift back. Now Celtics see a couple shots go down. Now they kind of get that monkey off the back, and just 1 game away. If we win on Monday night, that'll be just as good as if we, won the 2 home games. So really, obviously, it goes without saying that it's an incredibly important contest. But I think so even more so just given the reality of, what the Knicks could do if they were able to win this game tomorrow afternoon.
Again, we're on the phone with Tommy Beer at Tommy Beer on Twitter. He does great work covering the Knicks. And, I was following you during the first 2 games, and your confidence didn't waver. I think I even saw a tweet when they either went down, at half, where you said something like the Knicks got them right where they want them, and they did. So I know you crunch a lot of numbers and you see a lot of stats. What's an individual stat or a team stat that stood out from the first 2 games? Because the first 2 games were too alike. There was too many things that were like deja vu, from the 20-point deficit to the way it ended with Bridges and the terrible 3-point shooting of the Celtics, even, Brunson turning it on late. Like, is there a number that you can put on a player individually or a team stat that you found in the first 2 games that you're like, yeah, right there, this is what people aren't seeing?
Sure. I think, and, I was half joking, obviously, with that tweet when they're down 20.
Good to be right, though. Good to be, even though it reads like a joke, but when it's right, it's like you have faith.
That's what I meant, totally. But yeah, just as crazy as these playoffs has been, it's almost like the team that goes down 20 has the advantage. Let me give you some OG stuff, because I think a lot has been made, obviously, and rightfully so, about the Celtics shooting struggles. And some folks have said, it's bad luck, and they've missed open threes. The reality is, yes, they have missed some open threes, but the Knicks wing defenders, Bridges, Hart, and especially OG Anunoby, have really played at an incredibly high level on the defensive end. One stat specifically regarding OG and Tatum for Game 2. There were 39 possessions in which the NBA tracking does this. And the data is a little bit wonky, it's a little bit noisy, but for the most part, it's pretty accurate. There were 39 possessions in which OG Anunoby was the primary defender on Tatum. Tatum attempted, not just made, attempted 1 shot. He missed that shot. Going back for all 6 games now that OG missed one of the games during regular season, so it's actually 5 games, but there's 173 possessions in which OG has been the primary defender on Tatum. Tatum's just 5 of 23 from the floor. He scored a total of 18 points across those 173 offensive possessions. When you have a guy as talented and can really lock somebody up, and in my opinion, OG Anunoby's probably the best defender we've seen come through the city since Lawrence Taylor in his prime. Darrell Revis is probably in the conversation, some other guys. But OG at his best, when he's healthy and locked in, can really make life difficult for even the best scorers in the league, which Jason Tatum qualifies as. When you have somebody that can really, stop somebody's, their primary weapon, that really makes things difficult. And ditto for Hart and some credit for Tibbs for kind of adjusting the rotation. A lot of more switching on those high 1-5 pick and rolls as opposed to the drop coverage that Thibodeau seemed to fall in love with during regular season. It's schematic adjustments. It's players playing their best. And the Knicks have 3 of the best versatile defenders in the league. To kind of make up for it. Even Jalen Brunson's been doing a better job in terms of one-on-one defense. Cat's been doing a much better job playing at the level or outright switching and blitzing pick and rolls when Tatum or Brown or White or Holiday, those guys get the ball to the top of the key. So Knicks are really firing on all cylinders. Obviously, Celtics didn't come back and fire their best shot, but I see no reason why the Knicks can't go up 3-0 with how well they're playing, and the Celtics are ahead a little bit right now.
Yeah, I think if they come out with the right energy, it'd be nice to see them get a lead and hold a lead, or at least make it, a little difficult, so the Celtics don't go on a run where they can go up 20. And it's the Garden, man. The Garden's going to be crazy. What do you make of all the conversation about how fans are getting priced out and how it's not going to be the raucous environment? I think it is. I don't care who you are. I don't care how rich you are, or if you don't go to a lot of games, like, you can't be in there and be quiet. It's the playoffs. I expect the place to be bananas. So what are you thinking about, the vibe tomorrow, and if the diehard Knick fan is going to be priced out?
100. Listen, I totally agree with you that it's going to be a raucous environment. Are there really expensive tickets on the open market? Absolutely, because there are folks and ticket brokers that were able to get tickets for that for their first round, second round playoff series, etc. But the vast majority of fans in there are going to be season ticket holders or people that were are willing to not go on vacation this summer in order to go to one of these games. That's how loud it's going to be. I really expect it to be one of the loudest environments that we've seen at the Garden. I was in the building for the 2001 Hawks series, that first game. So much of that with people finally being able to get out of their houses with COVID. That night was crazy. Was at a bunch of the '90s playoff games. Speaking of falling in love with the Knicks, I sit next to my dad. Section 218 in 1994 when they finally beat the Bulls. A tremendous amount, but yeah, I think the fan base is really going to be up and loud on their feet through the entire game. It's going to be an incredible environment. I find it unfair. I wish the Knicks would set aside maybe 500 tickets and give it to folks that are just waiting outside. But I agree with you. There may be some rich folks, but there's going to be a lot more loud folks inside the Garden tomorrow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that get gifted tickets, and there's a lot of people that'll be in there that didn't pay these ridiculous prices. These prices are ridiculous on the resale market because people are trying to make a buck. You know what I thought about? I'm like, the Knick fan is smart because there were a lot of Knick fans that traveled to game 1 and 2, and so they probably already did the numbers of, hey, if I gas up the tank and drive up to Boston and back, it's cheaper to go there. And if you saw 2 ridiculous games, it's going to be a different energy in the Garden. I don't expect as many Boston fans to be making the trip down because they're down 2 games.
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more motivation for the Knicks fans to go back up to Boston for a game 5 than the Celtics to make the trek down when they could be witnessing a funeral. So yeah, there'll obviously be a few here and there, but the Garden's going to be crazy tomorrow. No 2 ways about it.
I think the Knicks can win this game tomorrow, but I'm going to ask you, what needs to happen? Because if we play the game of, okay, the Celtics are going to shoot better. Okay, Jason Tatum's going to show up. They're not going to have a 3rd game in a row. They've had 2 days to rest. Like, Kristaps Porzingis should feel a little bit better. Like, what do the Knicks have to do to win the game in a different style game? What does Tom Thibodeau have to do differently? Who do you expect to rise? Like, what are you expecting to see out of the Knicks in the third game, in a different style game, to come away with the victory?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, obviously you expect the Celtics to play better, but the Knicks, the wild part is the Knicks haven't played their A game in the series.
Right.
Outside of, a 15-minute stretch in both games to close both games, and obviously they have Captain Clutch, in his case, to kind of take them home. But yeah, they really haven't played well. So would anybody be shocked if Brunson puts up a 40 ball? Would anybody be overly surprised if Cat, goes for 30? This is stuff we haven't seen. Cat's only attempted 2 3-pointers. I'd like to see him get some shots from behind the arc, and just as importantly, feed him in the post. And a lot of the things that the Knicks have done well the first 2 games just going to carry over. Part of that's getting easy baskets in transition. When Josh Hart gets a defensive rebound, he's going to push the pace. You do not want this Celtics team, because even when they've struggled offensively, they're still an elite defensive unit. So as many easy buckets in transition you can get, you want to push the ball and do that. And then, feed Cat down low in the post, try to get OG Anunoby involved. One other stat for you, dating back since he arrived in New York, so the start of last postseason, this is his first playoff games, the Knicks are 8-0 when OG Anunoby takes 14 shots or more. So that's something they really want to make sure that he's involved. We saw him take over game 1 offensively, only had 9 field goal attempts in game 2. Would like to see him kind of get more involved offensively. And then again, the game plan, I wrote it up in the kind of the preview of the series. The best chance that New York will have is play well enough over the first 43 minutes that you give yourself a chance, and you give Brunson a chance win the final 5 minutes, because there's just we're seeing something really special now. It's rare. At any time you're a fan of a sport, a fan of a team, to get one of those guys, and Brunson is one of those guys. And I know Knicks fans don't take it for granted, but it really is incredible, something truly special to watch. Every Knicks fan believed he was going to make shots, the shot that he made at the end of game 1. When he went to the free throw line at game 2, down 1, 11 seconds left, Knicks fans are confident. Those are tough free throws. Those are pressure-packed free throws, and Brunson sunk them both. A lot to be excited about. They're going to need, obviously, bench contributions they've received in Boston. Deuce McBride knocked down a couple more threes. And Mitchell Robinson's kind of been the X factor, the second best plus minus the entire postseason through in the second round, rather. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the only player that has a better plus minus than Mitch Rob, who's plus 32. The Knicks had outscored the Celtics by 32 points in the 39 minutes that Robinson has been on the floor, to kind of give you a feel of his impact. Obviously they're going to go to Hack-a-Mitch. We'll see how that plays out. But, you put him in the start of the quarter, the Celtics will be hesitant to do that. And he's been really dominant on both ends. Gives the Knicks another versatile, switchable defender at the top of the key. And obviously he can protect the paint and crash the offensive glass. He kind of reminds me of the impact that Marcus Camby had during that 1999 run, where he's just a wild man crashing the boards and making those impact plays.
Do you see Tibbs expanding and putting in a PJ Tucker or a Precious Achiuwa or Landry Shamet? I've taken a bunch of those calls over the last couple of days, and I keep going back to no, he trusts his starters, and you're going to see the 8 guys that have played, and maybe, obviously, with the Hack-a-Mitch, we saw Precious Achiuwa get off the bench. But do you anticipate that? I don't. I think he's going to play the guys that he relies on and that are conditioned, that have made the plays in this early part of the series.
Bingo. He's going to play those, he goes with a 7-8-man rotation in the middle of February. He is not messing around up 2-0 against the Celtics. There's a chance to close them out. And the other notable thing is there's obviously no back-to-back in the playoffs. The last time these guys played was Wednesday. That's an extra full day of rest, 2 full days off. I expect, all the starters to be 40-plus minutes, a healthy dose of Mitch off the bench. Plenty of Deuce McBride as well, 20-plus minutes, but, maybe Cam 5 minutes. But other than that, you're going to see that 7-man rotation. I would be very surprised if he expanded it out.
Yeah, the Knicks should just blow them out, and then they can sit their starters and play the bench. That'd be.
Tibbs isn't sitting anybody out.
It would never. The league would never be safe with Tibbs. He's keeping everyone out there. Last thing for you, and not to look ahead, but I'm keeping an eye on the Cavaliers and Pacers game. The Cavaliers are up 57-40 on the Pacers. They have Darius Garland back. They have Evan Mobley back. They have DeAndre Hunter back. So a lot of us that looked at that series and said the Pacers are going to run away with it because the Cavs are injured. Well, the Cavs got a little bit healthier and they're fighting back tonight. The Pacers are a team that knocked the Knicks out last year because the Knicks got hurt, and it was looking like they might have some of the same luck with the Cavaliers. Who would you want to face in the next round if the Knicks are able to eliminate the Celtics?
Wow, it's interesting. I just clicked on it too because when I came up here to my office, the Matherin had just hit that shot at the end of the first quarter to tie the score. And I'm just looking now. The Cavs have outscored the Pacers 26-8. So you know what? The Celtics are liking that and be like, yes, that's the intensity we got to play with. The most dangerous animal is a cornered animal. So we'll see that type of Celtics effort. Tomorrow. I think that Knicks fans can kind of take that with a grain of salt. In terms of who I'd rather face, I'd probably rather face the Pacers. Assuming everybody's healthy for Cavs, they're a really good team. You don't win 60 games in a difficult, a top-heavy NBA by accident. Really well coached. Obviously, Kenny Atkinson, Coach of the Year. Good defensively with Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year. Mitchell can play well in big spots. He's averaging 40 points a game in this series. I think the ideal scenario for Knicks fans is this series goes 7 games, which, assuming the Cavs take care of business here and close this one out, I think that's a legitimate opportunity. But yeah, all things said, and the other factor obviously is the Knicks would have home court advantage if they played the Pacers. So for that reason alone, I think I definitely lean towards preferring to face Indiana.
Not trying to put you on the spot, but are you going to the game tomorrow? You got your way in there or not? You're going to watch somewhere else?
I'm not. I got a Mother's Day dinner that I have to be home for after the game. So we have to prioritize sometimes, but won't be in the Garden tomorrow. But I'll get there for one of these next couple of games.
Yeah, I mean they have the game on Monday, and they might have the game on Friday, which would be Subway Series in the Bronx and Game 6 of the series in the Garden. So New York is lit, man. Tommy, you've done great work online. I appreciate you coming on and giving us some of your time tonight.
Thanks for having me, Keith. I appreciate it.
Make sure you guys check out Tommy on Twitter at Tommy Beer. He live tweets the games. He puts a lot of stats and information out for Knicks fans about the team. And like I said, I just saw his stuff keep popping up, and I'm like, this is the type of guy to bring on to give you guys some more insight about the Knicks. 888-808-1019, some more insight about the Mets. They're up 6-1. The generational Juan Soto has homered again. Don't look now, but he's heating up. See, I told y'all Juan Soto would be fine. I told you he loves being a Met. He was waiting for the weather, and he was waiting for the next homestand, and like leading into the Subway Series, he's like, now I'm gonna get my powers back. Now he's Juan Soto again.
Yeah, I also think it's possible. Maybe he hurt himself in spring training. Maybe he wasn't fully 100% healthy.
Maybe.
Being concerned about Juan Soto if the guy retired today, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Relax. Juan is going to be absolutely fine. Mets fans have no need to worry.
And you have Lindor, and you have Alonso, and you have Brett Beatty, and Jeremy Hefner's pitching lab. So 888-808-1019. I see people that are on hold that held the entire time. I appreciate you for doing that. You'll be first in line. I've got maybe another 25 minutes left on the show tonight. It's wide open for calls on the Knicks, the Mets, the Yankees, the Giants, and the Jets. Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on The Fan. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. All right.
something got smart.
Yeah, so what happened was I was supposed to do the show Let me see if I can answer these questions in here, y'all. I'm doing the show and I'm watching the game and the chat is going and you guys are talking amongst yourselves. I don't think that Tibbs is going to expand the bench, and I just talked to Tommy Beer about that. He's going to play the same 8 guys. Can't wait for next weekend. I'll be at the Subway Series. I think I'm going Friday and Saturday. I am confirmed now to be doing a show on WFAN on Sunday, so I don't think I'm going to be able to go to the Sunday game. Yeah, you guys, this Jeff McNeil went yard. I'm over an hour back in the chat. Let's see if there's anything that I could pull up that Keith, you are muted. Yeah, that was on purpose. That's hilarious.
Yeah. 18 back time. 90.
Okay. No, I don't think they have an AI voice of me. Tiki and Tommy, yes. KM to pregame, sure. KM to pregame show. Yeah, see? I don't know, I'm an internet guy. So instead of always getting these reporters or whatever, I look for people on the internet. Tommy Beer, I was like, this dude is on it. He like
Pregame 9:25, right?
he's a whole Knicks fan for real.
Trying to ask you a question there, Glue. Pregame's 9:25, right? Yeah. Could be 9:30. Could be 9:35. What do I know? That's the point. That's why I asked. You honestly wonder why people don't like it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good evening at 9 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. The Mets roll over the Cubs 6-1, bottom of the sixth inning, looking for a little bit more. Francisco Lindor is second hit. He's on first with one out, and Juan Soto stepping into the box. He's already gone deep in this one, his eighth homer of the year. Mets have hit 4 homers in all. Francisco Lindor, Brett Baty, Jeff McNeil have each reached the seats as well. They bludgeoned Jamison Ty on 4 innings, 5 runs on 9 hits. Meanwhile, Clay Holmes getting the beneficiary of all this. 1 run on 3 hits over 6 innings. Mets 6-1 lead in front of the Cubs, looking for more in the bottom of the sixth. Yankees in eighth tonight. Coverage here on the fan streaming on the free Odyssey app begins at 9:25. Cavs getting back. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter trying to avoid that 0-3 hole. And they got a 66-45 lead on the Pacers. They're at the break. For the Knicks getting set for Game 3 with the Celtics after back-to-back 20-point comeback wins in Boston. Despite being halfway home to advancing and getting set for that raucous crowd, Jalen Brunson, not surprisingly, not about to let this moment raise his body rate. Meanwhile, day one rookie minicamp, Jackson Dart getting his feet wet, and he's more than excited to be working with Brian Dable. Hockey playoffs, Panthers lead the Maple Leafs 4-3 as they head to the third. Toronto with a 2-0 series advantage. 53 degrees, cloudy skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Valetti.
And here we go. Quickly, I'm done in about, 13 minutes. Keith McPherson on the fan. Getting ready for the Yankee game. Taking a look at those Sacramento Athletics. The Mets are rolling. They have more trouble on the base paths for the Chicago Cubs. 1 out, 2 on. Pete Alonso at the plate. You already heard Soto homer, and Brett Beatty and Jeff McNeil and Lindor. They are looking really good against this Cubs team that most people will tell you is one of the better teams in baseball. But yeah, I'm also not sleeping on the Athletics. They have got a lot of good young players. I was looking at their leadoff hitter, Jacob Wilson, and something came up on my Instagram from MILB Central where someone said Jacob Wilson is the best hitter in MLB since Tony Gwynn. And of course, all the comments are like, what? What? And then Ryan Spader had a side-by-side. First 64 career games played. Jacob Wilson, at age 23 and 38 days old, was slashing .313, .353, .412 in 251 plate appearances, 73 hits, 16 strikeouts. Now, Tony Gwynn, at 23 years old, 61 days old, was slashing .289, .332, .382 in 245 plate appearances, 65 hits with 20 strikeouts. So this kid is off to a good start to his young career. Mets fans have already seen a little bit of the Sacramento A's out there. And OptaStats had a stat where it said Jacob Wilson needed 36 games to hit 40 singles and drive in 20 runs this season. It's the fewest games any American League rookie has needed to reach each of those marks in a season since the RBI was first tracked in 1920. You've probably already heard of, what's this kid's name? Soderstrom, Jacob Soderstrom, Tyler Soderstrom. Just because of his power surge that he had in the beginning of the year, he slowed down a bit. But like in the beginning of the year, it was like him and Judge. He's 23 years old. He's got 9 homers. He's hitting .290, OPS at .867. Who else is pretty decent on their team? Shea Langoliers. I remember him coming to Shea Stadium and doing his thing. And there's a young dude on their team by the name of Lawrence Butler. A lot of swag. A young dude who was born in Burlington, New Jersey, but he grew up in Westlake, Atlanta. You'll see him out there. He's a right fielder, and he can hit a bit too. He's got some pop. But ultimately, Yankee fans are going to get a little bit of a reunion. We will see J.P. Sears tomorrow on the mound. You guys remember J.P. Sears. And, of course, you remember Gio the God, Gio Urshela, who plays for the A's, and Miguel Andujar, Miggy Two Bags, and Luis Severino. So there are some former Yankees over there on that team to look out for. And I'm not going to hold you. I think that this is going to be a series. I think the Yankees could lose tonight with Will Warren on the mound. And these young guys, they're scrappy and they're out for their respect. And it's a minor league ballpark. So we'll see how it goes. 888-808-1019, wide open for whatever you guys want to talk about in my last 11 minutes. Jonathan out in Los Angeles, thanks for holding.
Okay, Keith.
What's up, bro?
I haven't really called in that much because I got my 3-month daughter.
Yeah, you in it, bro. I know you in it.
Why you think my voice is a little low right now too?
Because that sleep is patchy. That sleep is here and there.
Nah, but I'm gonna give credit to, speaking of Mother's Day, I gotta give credit to my girl, man. She's putting in work, and I gotta put in work too and working, bro. But thank God everything is going. Just wanted to let you know, bro. I haven't called in, but I got you all the time on my AirPod, bro. Oh, I'm sorry for all those listeners that don't like, listening to family. My bad. Hopefully,
it's just me. They just, they got a problem with me talking about my family specifically. I got to get on the air and talk about the Knicks only and the Yankees only, and I can never tell my little stories. So
nah, bro, they got to check your resume, bro. Like
nah, they don't. The haters never do. They never do. They listen and come up with their own stuff.
Oh my God. Nah, man. Key, so let me tell you something, man. I'm a Lakers fan. You're a Nets fan. We got something in common aside from being, in sports, aside from being a Yankee fan. We're rooting off for these Knicks, and we really want Boston.
Oh yeah, never rooting for the Celtics as Laker fans and Nets fans.
Never, and I'm a Falcons fan, especially what the Patriots did to my poor Falcons. That still hurts to this day, bro. But as a Lakers fan, I hate Boston. And do you think, bro, the New York Knicks right now are America's team? You think all the country's cheering for them? Because even my uncle, he's a Clipper fan, and he even wants the Knicks to win. And I hear you on the other side, bro. And really quick too, bro. I'm about to cop some merch next week. I think next week or 2 weeks from now, we're gonna go to Colorado, go see the Yankees over there. And trust me, I'm gonna be rocking my KN to AN shirt right there. My guy, have a good weekend, my guy, and happy Mother's Day to your mother and to your.
Yes. Send my love to your girl. Tell Bash I said what's up, and you guys have a good weekend. Appreciate you. 888-808-1019. Are the Knicks America's team? I think what it is, and you know what? I was on Wednesday night, and we took a call from Phoenix, and it was a Knicks fan who was out there and saw the Mets series against the Diamondbacks and said he went to the bar, and there were people pulling up in blue and orange. We talked to someone that was in San Francisco. We talked to someone that was at a casino in Boston. People from, different places, Florida. And I'm like, you know what it is? The population in New York is so deep, and people go other places. The Knicks travel so well because obviously the New Yorkers travel, but also there are New Yorkers in every state that pop up to support them. They go to Orlando, they go to Detroit, they go wherever they go. They go to Boston, and there are Knicks fans there that live there. New Yorkers are everywhere. So when you ask if the Knicks are America's team, I do think that America has hated on the Knicks for years. I remember watching a Disney movie. It was like that Afterlife movie, and they had a joke about the Knicks in it a few years back. And even these national talking heads and pundits, they don't ever want to give the Knicks any credit. But I think right now, knocking off the defending champs, I think right now the world seeing the joy and the celebrations going on in New York City, the videos. Like I watched a video the other night. I don't know who put it all together. It was on TikTok. And it had the vantage point of so many different Knicks fans watching the game at home. They had this guy proposing to his girl. He was so happy. They had this guy running outside, yelling out his front door. Mothers and fathers and sons and daughters hugging each other. We got two from Boston. We got two from Boston. So when people see that, it's hard to hate. But, Knicks got to finish the job. So do I think the Knicks are America's team right now? I think America is seeing this and saying, hey, why not them? Stay down till you come up. Why can't, the greatest city in our country, the greatest city in the world have a team that represents them, that knocks off the Celtics, and maybe it's their year to get to the championship. All the talk around the Pope going to Villanova, like it's just one of those things, man. It's bigger than all of us, and we hope it continues. Let's see. If they take game 3, I think it's wraps. Let's go to Gene in Southbound Brook on the Fan. What's up, Gene?
Oh man. Hey, listen. If you remember me, man, I'm 77 years old. I called the Smooze the legend, and he called me the hero. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm listening. I do remember. Yes, I do remember your voice. Yes.
Now, this morning, I don't know, Larry
Well, I think we just lost you, Gene. You there? I feel like. Okay, yeah.
Well, when I was like 8 or 9 years old, we took a bus trip
with the Cub Scouts. We went to Lakehurst, and then we went to Yankee Stadium. My dad was with me. And if you know old Yankee Stadium, remember them big monuments that look like headstones? I think it was Huggins, Garrick, and what the hell was Bucky Harris or somebody? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. It's before my time, but I've seen the videos. I know what you're talking about.
And so we're out there. We're allowed to walk on the field, and I'm walking around, and my dad says, "What are you doing?" I said, "These are graves. Look, I don't want to step on them." So he goes, "No, man, that's a dead." And so the Mick was out, and so we go to our bleacher. You know where you do your creature stuff?
Yes, sir.
Quarter, man. Nick, look, my son's here to see. He's a Cub Scout. He took off my hat and rubbed my head. All right, now that's what I dig about the Yankees, man. Now, the Knicks, all right, it was, oh, geez, 67, you know, I got shot up pretty bad during the Tet Offensive. So I went to a hospital in Japan, and things were pretty bad back then when it turned into the 68s, you know. And the only thing that I liked about Boston was the brothers that came to make sure the brothers in number.
Are you able to dial?
You know.
Oh, she's on.
Bill
Okay,
Russell,
I'm gonna go to her right after this.
Kareem, Rosie Greer came. Oh, and there was somebody, a little short guy from Shake and Bake, Earl the Pearl. And he came around and they made sure, like, you know, nothing was going on. So at the time, you're hanging?
Thanks for the call, Gene. I'm sorry. I don't know. I give you guys as much time as possible. I try to follow. I know we've spoken before. I was waiting for you to land the plane. You tell us, but I don't know where to go from there, and it was getting choppy, and I'm running out of time. Last call of the night. Let's go to Crystal in Ocean Township. What's up? You're on the fan.
Hey, honey.
Hi, Ma. How are you doing?
I'm good. I love your show. You know I love your show.
Yeah, I had to disguise you there. I had to make it sound like you were just a regular caller calling in.
Yeah, I am. I'm your mother.
Yeah, I love you. I want you to know none of this is possible without you.
Oh, I love you. You work hard. You work hard for it. Everything that you do, it comes from everybody helping you as you were when you were little, you know. And I listen. I hear people call in and talk crazy when they call in to you. And you know, sometimes I start texting you behind the scenes, like, how are you taking that? But we know what it is. You're a hard worker, and people are jealous of that. And then also you get these people that like to troll.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. And that's what I tell you guys. I'm like, I'm built for it. And, you know, when I struggled and nobody knew who I was, like, it was quiet. So I don't mind it being loud. Like, this is better.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy last night was just, I think he was a troll.
Yeah, but you know what? The trolls come from the internet and they're online and then they come on air. And honestly, I've never met anyone in real life that carries himself like that. And I don't plan to. You know, I want people to realize like I'm a regular dude, regular person. I'm somebody's son, somebody's husband, somebody's dad. Like, simple as that. All right, Mom, we got to go. I'll see you tomorrow, though. Love you. I would tell you to dial the number, but that's the end of the show. I think that's a good way to end. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And, yo, just be nicer to people. You don't know what people have going on. And everybody's trying their best out here. So I'm going to go home and go to bed and, think about my life and keep trying to be the best version of myself I can be. You should do the same. Thanks for listening. Good night. That's it.